Hey there everyone, I'm meteorologist Cassie Nall, and this is your 10 Weather Impact recap for the week. Let's start with a look at some of the top weather stories from around the country. In Alaska, the town of Utqiagvik, formerly known as Barrow, had their first sunset in over 80 days on August 2nd. The sun set for about an hour from around 2 to 3 a.m. on Sunday. You can see it skim right along the horizon before coming right back up there. Being north of the Arctic Circle, this community will now see their daylight hours decrease until they move back into 24 hours of darkness on November 19th. Tens of thousands of people have been evacuated and hundreds of structures destroyed as large wildfires continue to burn in Washington state. Crews were able to make progress on the containment of several fires near Spokane this week, but more hot, dry, and windy conditions are in the forecast this weekend. Nearly 50 large wildfires are burning across Washington and Oregon, creating thick plumes of smoke that are reducing air quality all across the country. Now, the smoke hasn't been too bad lately here in East Tennessee, but if the winds start to shift, it's something we may have to monitor as we go throughout this weekend. In California, fire season runs pretty much year-round, and CAL FIRE is looking to add a new tool to their belt to support wildfire attacks. Last week, CAL FIRE worked with innovators to test out autonomous drones that have the potential to support wildfire operations. Madison Wilbur spoke with firefighters and engineers about how the drones could help with emergency response.
Firefighting drones could soon be a tool in the future for CAL FIRE to use. On Wednesday, CAL FIRE, alongside a nonprofit and a team of engineers, field tested fully autonomous drones that are being built to help firefighters.
They go out there with the backpack pumps and the brooms and the shovels, and they can put it out really fast. The Fire Innovation Unit is trying to force multiply that, take some of the weight off their backs.
The drones fly in packs of 5. Each drone weighs around 400 pounds and are built out of carbon fiber. One can carry roughly 20 gallons of water, and when totaled with the others, that can turn into 500 to 1,000 gallons of foam when mixed with firefighting concentrate. It can also reach steep terrain that may be hard to access on foot.
More than any one situation, we want to provide them with a set of tools, be it heavy lift capability, be it fire suppression capability, be it situational awareness capability, be it autonomy and nighttime capabilities. We want to give them a full toolbox so that the professionals can do what they do best.
Stuart Landisberg is the founder of Seneca, the company that's building these drones. He says it's field tests like these that can make all the difference.
One of the things we loved learning when out there in the field is what are the firefighting techniques that folks over their decades of experience know to be the most successful, and how can we apply those to our algorithms, our autonomy software, and make those our default patterns.
And as testing continues for these drones, those at CAL FIRE say this type of research is not just for fun.
It's a demand for the state of California and for the people that live here that we have to move forward. And we're the world's largest fire department, and we need to be the leaders in technology, we feel, as well.
In Colorado, one town has created a new road to help prepare for future wildfires. Genesee Fire Rescue successfully tested a new emergency evacuation route, and neighbors say they feel relieved to have more pathways to safety. Courtney Yoon shares the story.
The gate here to Genesee's new emergency route will stay closed until it's needed. And this morning, Genesee Fire Rescue tested it for the first time with residents. They were able to get 117 cars through in 35 minutes.
Good morning. Have you heard what we're doing today?
The last thing you want to worry about when a fire is approaching,
We're going to start moving people any minute now,
is how to get out.
We're here to just be prepared and get ready just in case.
Kirsten Nielsen and her family have lived in Genesee for 14 years, where the fire risk is some of the highest in the nation.
I was worried because we were in the back of Genesee and the exit routes are by 70 and Grapevine, so we didn't really have an exit out.
Now they have another way to get to safety.
all entities on the Genesee evacuation drill. Let's begin exercise.
It's just a huge relief for me. Otherwise, I was thinking of getting a Kubota to take my girls out through the woods.
The new route is something Genesee Fire Rescue Chief Josh Boyle says has been a long time coming.
Yep, hold them up. We only had 2 ways in, 2 ways out, and they were separated by about 500 feet. So if there was ever a hazard that we need to mitigate in that area that people need to get away from, they would be cut off from that.
He says back in 2008, their community wildfire protection plan identified that risk.
Well, what we know is that evacuating this district prior to this road could have taken up to 4 hours.
Since then, it's taken a lot of money, engineering, and stakeholders to get this emergency road built.
This gives us an option of saying we can get this half of the district out this way and that half of the district out that way, depending on the scenario.
Construction was completed a couple of months ago in May.
The voters took it to them on their local government and said, this is something we want and this is something we're willing to pay for.
Chief Boyle says today's drill was a success.
The residents did what they were supposed to do and they drove safely. It is a steep, windy dirt road and it ends up on Highway 74.
The new emergency road cuts 13 minutes off Genesee Fire Rescue's response time to Highway 74.
And when things on fire, 13 minutes is a long time.
But it's also a secondary route, meaning it won't always be the road firefighters want residents to use during an evacuation.
So it's been difficult communication to say, don't always plan for this road, only plan for this road when we tell you, because every scenario is different.
While predicting fire behavior is never an exact science, what can matter most is being prepared.
So I want my kids and my family to be safe. Yeah, that's why this is so important to us.
With photojournalist Amy Hunter.
With these dry conditions this summer, I'm thankful for this route.
Back here in East Tennessee, steamy and stormy. Those are two words that sum up the month of July. Last month was the 16th warmest July on record, but most of that warmth actually came from our overnight low temperatures. The muggy conditions prevented the air from cooling down at night, including a record warm low of only 78 degrees on the 21st. And then there was the rain. We had numerous flash flood events from those torrential downpours, but unfortunately, most of them missed McGee-Tyson Airport. So the record books will show a deficit for the month, but we know the truth. It rained a lot in July. And those summertime storms made a big difference in the drought. Check out the difference from how we started the month to how we finished the month. Look at that, erased most of the drought across the area. The majority of the drought conditions have disappeared, which is great news as we move into the month of August. This month is the third and final month of meteorological summer, so average temperatures are still pretty warm, but by the averages, August is typically our third driest month of the year, especially as we get into the later weeks. So these daily rain chances that we've had lately are actually a very good thing. In North Carolina, volunteers with the Holden Beach Turtle Watch Patrol are seeing record-setting nest counts this summer. But the relentless heat that they had in the month of July raises concerns about hatchling survival. Bill Murray shows us how volunteers are making sure turtle nests stay safe and cool along the North Carolina coast.
Didn't we get 10 babies out the other day?
Just a few crew members of Holden Beach Turtle Patrol out this time of day. Much of the work in the overnight hours.
We just started putting our nest information signs up.
Nesting season in full swing. A sight like this, a lasting memory. But there's no denying the month of July brutally hot. And those temps impact nature.
We always say hot chicks, cool dudes.
No joke. The hot beach sand can help determine a turtle's sex. Anything over 85 increases the odds of more females.
The heat, it's going to be deeper. It's going to be hotter, deeper without the rain to bring some cool air, some cool water in. It could definitely sway the ratio of male to female. And over the years, that could definitely be a problem if you have more females.
It's a busy year.
Steve McNeil is raking away evidence. The smooth sand will tell a story tomorrow if they find tracks.
Last year we had 35, 36 nests. This year we're already up to 68, 69.
That's taking a toll on volunteers, especially coping with temps this past July.
Yeah, the heat impacts a lot of people, even the vacationers. They said, it's just too hot to be out here.
The turtles come to this area. It's a favorite area for them.
The sight of a nest brings joy over generations. Donna McGowan's got 17 years invested. The heat brings with it fear, and in some documented cases, surprise.
It's very troublesome when you go in at the end to excavate and inventory, and you see some unhatched eggs, and you open it, and it looks like it's been cooked. On day one, we dig down very, very softly and we find the eggs.
The crew lets nature take its course. If it's hot, it's hot. And the good news this year, that hasn't happened yet. In certain circumstances, those nests will be moved. If it's on the wrong side of the tide line, if a turtle didn't make it up an escarpment. But turtles have been around for millions of years. And in the scheme of things, for them, what's a little heat?
Their intuition, their instinct tells them what to do. So they manage somehow. I would say we suffer more than the turtles. That's my guess.
With this hot weather, and who knows with the rain.
Regardless, this crew ready, willing, and able to help make that journey up and back a success.
In Arizona, a new water supply plan released by the federal government significantly reduces the amount of water the state can use from the Colorado River. And officials are not happy. Bram Resnick has more on how drastic the cuts could be, and the impacts that the shortage would have.
Arizona's water community says the state has done the hard work to reduce its reliance on the Colorado River.
We're not being treated in a way that feels fair by the federal government, and that's a big deal.
The Trump administration's new 10-year plan for managing water shortages on the Colorado calls for even deeper cuts from Arizona users. 4 other states, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, and New Mexico, wouldn't have to make any sacrifices.
Imagine if everybody were, suddenly lost their jobs and everybody turned to one neighbor and said, we're going to use your deep savings to get through this. That's sort of how it feels.
The Colorado River is a lifeline for tens of millions of people in 7 states, 30 tribal nations, and parts of Mexico. The river reservoirs that supply Arizona have plunged to historic lows amid the impact of climate change and overuse of the river.
Get in a frame of mind to pay more for water so that your city can stay water resilient.
Sarah Porter, director of the ASU Kyle Center for Water Policy, says water rationing is not in our future. Cities like Phoenix and Scottsdale rely on Colorado water.
We need to pay more for water so that the cities can make the investments that they need to make in alternative supplies.
Under a worst-case scenario in the Trump administration plan, the Central Arizona Project, which supplies cities and farms from Phoenix to Tucson, would lose all of its Colorado River supply.
We would have to find as many resources as is available out there and try to cobble together as much as we can to help the cities deal with that outcome.
Governor Katie Hobbs' Water Resources Director, Tom Brzezinski, has negotiated an agreement with California and Nevada for deep cuts to their water allotments. He's hopeful the feds agree to that plan.
The state of Arizona is reserving its rights legally and reserving our right to challenge such draconian outcomes.
Let's talk tropics. We've had 2 named storms so far this hurricane season, and both Colorado State University and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration continue to forecast below average activity in the Atlantic Basin. A rapidly developing strong El Nino is creating high amounts of wind shear across the Caribbean, essentially tearing apart any tropical wave that enters that area. Now, August is typically a time when activity begins to ramp up, especially later this month as we get close to the climatological peak of the season on September 10th. More of the Atlantic Basin is in play for tropical development in August and in September. So while there may be a lower number of storms this year, they can still happen. For now, the tropics remain quiet. The North Carolina Department of Transportation says it's made major progress nearly 2 years after Hurricane Helene devastated the western part of the state. Transportation leaders are giving an inside look at their ongoing work to repair roads across Henderson County. Shelley Garzon has more.
The sounds of recovery are loud across Batcave and Chimney Rock. In nearly 2 years, NCDOT crews have restored access to the area with a temporary bridge, but their work is far from over.
The connection here from Batcave to Chimney Rock is really important for the community, for tourists, for those that have businesses here, but also those that live here and are traveling in and out daily.
DOT says their biggest challenge in the rebuild has been access to areas damaged by Helene.
The next step is for us to continue that process to get to agreed to construction price so that we can start work really throughout the corridor. There's still design work involved in that process, including securing our environmental permits.
Engineers say construction has taken time for several reasons.
We still have to maintain traffic in this area. These businesses are open, folks live here, they come in and out of this area, so we've got to continue that coordination as we construct the project.
For businesses that rely on tourism, every improvement means easier access for customers returning to Chimney Rock.
And so we are very happy to see that there's a lot of customers from the past coming back and the new ones. They just want to see the progress in Chimney Rock, how the town it's rebuilt after the hurricane.
And while the work is far from over, transportation leaders believe the progress made has laid a strong foundation for the next phase of rebuilding.
It's remarkable how much we've got done, and then we've just got some of the bigger, more complex projects to complete over the next couple of years. So we do ask for some patience as we complete that.
The North Carolina Department of Transportation hopes to have the entire project complete by 2029. And in our state, the Tennessee transportation crews say I-40 near the Tennessee-North Carolina state line will be completely restored to 2 lanes in both directions by the end of 2027. Crews have been working to rebuild the interstate after floodwaters from Hurricane Helene washed away the roadway in 2024. Now let's get a check of your 7-day forecast. And when I look at this, I just see summer. It's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, and we have daily chances for scattered showers and storms, so keep an eye on that radar if you have outdoor plans. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can get the latest forecast and watch that 24/7 live radar anytime with the WBIR app. It's free to download on your TV and watch for free.